Some people like to make a grand entrance, kind of like this pair of daredevils we're going to see right here. Welcome back, guys. It is your host, Broncos Guru, and it's this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. Our subject we're going to talk about this week is always a fun one. That's that everyone needs a little help sometimes. Kind of like that time when you went down to the ramp and forgot that you hadn't replaced your rear tires yet. You had to get a friend to help you get the boat out. But sometimes when you need a hand, you need a little more assistance than one person can offer. Kind of like when you forget to put the safety chains on the trailer and your other friend steps in to help stop the boat from going back down the ramp. Or how about that time you had that fear of water and your buddy helped you get in? It's always nice to have solid friends around, especially when you're approaching the dock. Everyone can use a hand when they're trying to dock their vessel. Sometimes things can get a little out of control and you just need that extra set of hands just to try and make sure that everything goes your way and you get this vessel tied up securely to the dock. But even sometimes with the extra set of hands, well, things just won't always go your way and you're gonna have to improvise any way you can. Sometimes help out on the water will even come out of nowhere, like maybe you were trying to tack and struggling and somebody saw you and decided they were going to give you a hand. Or like sometimes when you'll approach that dock and that random stranger will reach out and try and give you a hand grabbing a line to get you set up and safely pulled over to the dock. But sometimes help is not always around when we need it, and those are the times we have to figure out a way to give ourselves a hand. Kind of like that time you lied to your buddy Tony and said, "Don't worry, man, I can back the trailer into the spot. I've done this a million times," only to realize that you lied to Tony and you couldn't walk back down there and tell him, and you had to find a way to improvise and get it done anyway. Or that time you guys decided you were going to go out on the lake and not really know where you were going.
Hey, where are you boys going? I don't know, man!
It is always nice though, most people out on the water are always willing to lend a hand. Like when you're leaving the sandbar and you're having a little bit of struggles getting your vessel out, everybody will always pitch in to help you get out of this spot. They'll even probably offer a few nice words of encouragement to help you get through. Or when you're out on the open ocean and things just aren't going your way. As you can see, there's plenty of vessels here in the background that are going to be more than willing to assist these guys as things start to take a turn for the worse for this crew. I've heard of the terms getting somebody out there to swab the deck or somebody going ahead and giving the boat a deck rinse, but this is taking a deck rinse to the extremes. Sometimes the help you'll need to be a little more than just a helping hand, and you might need to borrow a tool for a job, and that's when you go ask your buddy if you can borrow his truck. But if you're that buddy and somebody's asking to borrow your truck, always ask what they plan to do with it, because you never know, this might be the scene that's happening here. Or sometimes the help you need, well, remembers has entered the water with an oar, and she is going to town on this guy. And even though this guy thought he was going to get retaliation on this crew, apparently they're going to retaliate on him. And this guy might need a little more than mental help, he's going to need some backup if this crew keeps coming after him like this. And sometimes though, when we're out on the water, you're going to need some real help, some real assistance from some friends or family or whoever's around, kind of like this crew right here, where this girl thought it was cool to lounge out on the bow of this boat, and all of a sudden she's taking a swim when they tried to come through the treacherous parts of Haulover Inlet. This video footage is from my boy Wavy Boats, and I'll leave a link up above where you can go watch this full clip of this whole video and this rescue. But one of the crazier parts here is you would think that she just needs assistance being rescued out of the water, but that's not exactly the case. You're going to watch her reactions here, and the only thing she actually cares about is getting her phone out of the water. And even now she's basically drowning, going under the water, just trying to keep the phone out of the water. And the first thing that's going to happen when her rescue appears over here is she wants to get him the phone, not her out of the water, but just save the phone. Kind of a wild scene and probably not the way my priorities would be in this situation. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. If you ever catch anything crazy happening on your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Ross Hewlett, Renee Ganley, Stuart Davidson, Charlie Kemp, Blake Irwin, Wavy Boats, Trent Raymond, Calumet IS, and Jaguez1 did this week. And if you haven't already, guys, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button. If not, we're coming to steal your drain plug.